This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
The ring opens quietly, but with an effect which in the context of harmonized music is apparently unique. For a very long passage there is not only no modulation, but no change of chord. A chord of E-flat major builds up. First the tonic sounds in the abysmal depths, next a fifth is added, then an arpeggio movement on the complete triad, calm but swelling, an embryonic motive which becomes partly stepwise to give us the first genuinely melodic motive. But still the chord does not change. We become increasingly aware of the modulation which is not happening. A sense of timelessness sets in. This sense of having somehow drifted out of time is increased as the curtain goes up. We see not the surface, but the underwater bottom of the Rhine. It is most important that there should be some cunning arrangement of scenery and lighting to make us feel, and not merely learn from our program notes, that we are indeed underwater. Moving ripples can be projected, or in some other way the resources of modern theatre lighting used suggestively. We must be shown the great river in perpetual flow, as we are already hearing it in the orchestra. This underwater symbolism is the crucial beginning to the drama. "Mark my new poem well," wrote Wagner to Liszt, 11th of February 1853, "it holds the world's beginning and its destruction." End of quote. The primordial chaos at the world's beginning is regularly depicted in creation myths as a waste of waters, from which the first self-generated gods emerged as they established some foothold of solid matter, some bubble of air to keep the waters at bay. We read in Wagner's stage directions of water thinning to a fine mist below, so as to leave a space the height of a man. He must have forgotten this later when he makes his Rhine maidens swim low and his Alberich climb high, and indeed in the original sagas Alberich himself is half a water creature. In any case, no mythic creature, terrestrial or otherwise, has any difficulty in breathing underwater if the symbolism requires it. Before very long we are going to be shown another regular feature of creation myths, the coming of light into the darkness of the waters. When that had happened, and there were beings who could give the animals their names, so that they fell into recognizable species in place of the mere fluctuating monstrosities of primordial chaos, order came into the world, or so it seems to our myth-making imaginations. This is not a valid account of the origins of species, but it is a valid depiction of the origins of consciousness. For consciousness, nothing exists until we know that it exists, and nothing has order until we know that it has order. Creation myths are important to a primitive mentality, not so much for their ostensible explanation of physical nature, as for their intuitive explanation of the nature of the psyche. Cosmologies are one way of answering the old urgent questions, what is life all about, and in particular, what manner of creature are we human beings? The macrocosm fascinates us very largely because of our intuition that we comprise a microcosm in some manner corresponding to it. The origins of consciousness in the race are in some degree recapitulated by the origins of consciousness in the individual. We have each of us started in pre-conscious infancy and grown to a measure of consciousness. The story of creation in this aspect is our own story writ large. It might perhaps not have occurred to anyone but Wagner to start an operatic libretto with the beginning of the world and to end with its destruction. We should be wrong to conclude that the subject is of no personal interest to us. On the contrary, it concerns us in the most direct way possible, for what it symbolizes. We may well conclude that only a partial megalomaniac could have undertaken such a subject at all.